My name is Nathan White. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Ages Inc., and we do environmental project management and restoration efforts. And we're here today to talk about environmental restoration projects with Micah here.
Yeah, my name is Micah Perlin. I'm a candidate for state assembly in the San Diego region in District 78. It's the coastal district, runs from Solana Beach all the way down to Imperial Beach, and we are the front lines of climate change and sea level rise.
And San Diego is a prime opportunity for a solutions-based approach. I also work with the city of San Diego, and that is an opportunity for restoration in the coming years. As things on the ground start to change, we're going to have to adapt quickly and effectively, but also in a way that protects communities.
Yeah. When we met, we sort of bonded on, I guess, two levels, right? The first level was we obviously have a deep passion for environmentalism, but we're also both entrepreneurs. And so we think about this not just through the lens of how do we have a clean environment, how do we steward the resources we have for our kids, we're both dads, but also how do we do it in a way that is actually going to grow the economy.
Correct, yeah. And my background is in architecture and real estate development. So looking through that opportunity and return on investment perspective, the environmental challenges when funded and when applied can create a lot of jobs and also create a clean environment, which that is the true basis of our economy. It's kind of contingent on both of those elements. So a little background with me, I have my bachelor's and my master's in architecture and real estate development. And for the last 7 years, I've worked with Ages to start to create environmental restoration opportunities.
Yeah, so I'm a bit of a jack of all trades. I started off doing political economy at Berkeley, focused on sustainability, worked with a lot of companies, helping them become more energy efficient, swapping out their light bulbs, reducing their waste, but showing them how they're going to save a lot of money doing it. And then went and got a master's in public policy and urban planning, really starting to think about how do you design cities so that they're more efficient at a systemic level. And obviously, public transit is a major issue here in San Diego in our region because the congestion's so bad, and we know we got to get cars off the road. And now, I've basically moved in the political space because it's clear that the economics justify the kinds of things we're going to talk about today. We can grow the economy, we can green the economy. What we have is a political system that is largely being stagnated by very powerful companies that don't want to see this innovation and change happen. And we're going to talk about it today, but there's so much opportunity, and not only is it going to be good for economic growth, but it's what we have to do for our kids.
Right. Yeah. I'm a dad of 3. I actually founded the company right before my first son, Benjamin, was born. And that was kind of a real opportunity to understand what we leave for our generations. Yeah. It's not just this one generation of my 3 children, but what their children are going to be affected by. And it really trickles down to many, many generations moving forward. And it's an opportunity for them to be engaged. Yeah. And we haven't seen this level of political engagement or economic engagement from youth for a very long time. Yeah. We haven't, speaking for myself, I haven't been able to understand the opportunities. I was trying to fit within the realm of what is practical and what's been done. So bridging off and creating that opportunities and the solutions-based approach becomes a fun experience in educating myself.
Right. Yeah. Right. I mean, we're going to talk about some big ideas today. And I think part of what has been a challenge is folks have gotten used to this like incrementalism. We'll just keep doing a little bit here, a little bit here, a little bit here. But the reality is our economy is dependent on petroleum, right? Mm-hmm. And a little bit less petroleum is not going to work. We actually need to pivot off. And if we hadn't had, decades of stagnation imposed on us by, the fossil fuel industry that largely invested in politicians instead of technology, we'd already be there. But, now we have to do it faster. I worked with nonprofit organizations for 15 years across a whole range of issues, some environmental, some working on housing. And I think one of the things that we're starting to realize is, no amount of Band-Aid is going to get us there. We really have to lean into this. And I think that's what's exciting about this talk is leaning into it and investing the kinds of resources that we need to see are going to provide huge dividends for generations. And I think for me, what got me off the sidelines to really invest as an individual in this political change, and I think people share this feeling when I talk to folks, knock doors, people realize that if you're fortunate enough to have a roof over your head, have a good job, you can provide that to your kids, but the things that they're going to inherit in the world around them, these are things that we have to do together. Mm-hmm. And I think folks get that now.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's everybody working together. It's not political party lines. It's not
Yep.
economic boundaries.
Yep.
It's the poor working with the rich, the leftists working with the centrists and the rightists. I mean, everybody comes together, and that's when you have a solutions-based approach that is equitable, because it benefits the rich, the poor, and the ultra poor, right, equally, because everybody benefits from a clean environment. So that's the point of our discussion today, is to talk generally from very specific topics to overarching ways that implementation could happen really quickly. We can implement change that doesn't take 50 or 100 years. You can implement change that are 10-year approaches that are a template for the next 10-year approach that happens simultaneously. So
yeah, I think that's right. I mean, we know that the climate impacts are going to impact the folks that are least fortunate first, right? And we already see that right now. I mean, look in California, the folks that suffer the worst air quality, they're living next to places where there's oil drilling, they're living next to refineries. We know we have an environmental justice issue. And I think what we're starting to understand now is, whereas certain individuals, certain entities were okay with pollution in small communities that were disempowered, and they tolerated that politically because those groups didn't have a voice. Well, the planet now, there's nowhere else for it to go. We're all experiencing this together. And so I think there's a moment where there's an alignment where folks who maybe they feel like, well, it wasn't in my neighborhood, my air is clean. Well, now we know it impacts us all.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's our introduction for this first piece. We're going to create a series that kind of transitions into different topical discussions where we can address little pieces of the component, because it is an overarching network, and it's a positive feed loop back cycle. So, what's happening right now is there's negative cycles that reinforce themselves. What we want to do is piece it down to positive cycles that can be initiated. Once done, that has a positive implication on the next opportunity.
Yeah. We're looking forward to getting into the next elements of conversation.
And look forward to having you join our team. Both Micah and I, we both have our individual campaigns on the private side and the political side, and where those two meet is a great opportunity to bring business and policy together.
Yep. Join us.